Hi everyone, Indigo Twin here, bringing to you the weekly Divine Partnership reading for the week beginning the 6th of March. Wow, it's hard to believe it's March already. For those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, you'll be coming into lots more sunshine and less cold, so it's a great time coming into springtime. However, for us down here in the Southern Hemisphere, we of course are going into autumn, or is it summer? Yeah, it's been a bit like that, but anyway. So, what have we got coming up this week? We've of course got Venus retrograde, so there's a lot of energies around that. We come off, of course, that new moon solar eclipse. There's been a lot of interesting energies being really stirred up this week, well, this week that's just gone. And I mean, according to the last week's reading, we certainly had a lot of things that were happening, and we still have the masculine dealing with a few sort of issues in there, and and the feminine also. So this week, there are quite a number of cards that have come up that are quite in similar placings to last week. However, that's a great thing because that's consistency, which means that the underlying currents are quite consistent, or the 5D is quite consistent. It's just the 3D things that keep moving. So, I'm just going to go straight into it because actually, no, I'm going to come back. I'm going to start with the feminine this week. Okay, because the feminine, I feel, looking at these cards, the feminine are kind of a little bit all over the place. There are a lot of emotions, a lot of different, it's how to explain it, ups and downs. So the feminine have been going through a few ups and downs and emotions. What that is releasing. Feminines are releasing. They're just letting things flow from them. And hence that is the water card here, represented by the water card. Things are just, feminine are allowing the things to just flow through. The old energies, clearing up the karmic stuff. So that's the message that I'm getting quite strongly here, is a real release, a real letting go. Whereas, and I am going to just hop a bit today because that's where I've been guided to go, whereas the masculine are coming into their divine selves. So this, of course, is Osiris, and Osiris represents, of course, is the divine. He's the Lord of Light. There's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of justice and integrity. So Osiris, of course, is the wise spiritual leader or the spiritual father. There are gentle energies from Osiris, however, they're still firm. Osiris card here does suggest a degree of security and blessings and protection. It's a spiritually uplifting card. So I really feel that the masculine 5D has been working overtime in actually bringing about the masculine energies within the 3D. So that's a really good place to have right here, because that is movement. That is movement, because coming up again, we have Sirius, Osiris card right here. So they're the energies again. And of course, as you know, those of you who've been listening to me for a while do know that Sirius is all about pioneering and awareness. So there is an awareness here of actually going, well, okay, it's the obelisk, it's a 5-pointed star, but it is the sacred star of the ancients. It's about universal awareness. So in other words, they're really coming down into this understanding. The energies that are surrounding the masculine are about pioneering and adventure. Now, also giving them a breadth of vision, and in that, also deprogramming the mind of limiting beliefs. So what we've got happening here is that they're going through these major upgrades. The masculine are going through major upgrades at the moment, becoming more spiritually aware than they ever have been. Now, that might be evident on the 3D through your interaction with your divine masculine counterpart, or it may not be quite down on the 3D, but it is in the 5D. So do connect, for the divine feminine, do connect with your divine masculine a lot in the 5D, because that's where it's happening. Once that connection is secure within the 5D, then it will just flow down into the 3D. So it's very important to keep up those high vibrations. Do not let it go. Venus, being retrograde, is coming back. It's coming back for a double dip. It's saying, think back in, say, the last couple of months of those good times, those connections that you had, those positive energies. Think about those. That's what you work with. Do not allow any of the eclipse times where there was those down times. Do not allow that to come in. Do not allow that to come in at all. Now, of course, remember we had the cards, the Isis healing cards last week that was very much were connecting, very much connecting with the light. So we need to stay in that high vibration. So important for the changes that are coming now, especially with this Venus retrograde. Now, jumping back to the feminine, she has the card, the Bast card. And of course, Bast is the card of happiness. It's the sistrum. It is the happy card. Things are actually, there's joy. She's the goddess of joy. Okay, there is joy and happiness abound. Be happy. Be happy within yourself. That is a strong guidance here. This is all about healing rays, overcoming obstacles, and invoking those healing rays. So spend a lot of quiet time alone with yourself. Connect with yourself. That is such strong advice right now. Connect with yourself. Connect with your high beings. Connect with your 5D twin. That is the strong message. There is a lot of things happening here. Okay, and then when we pull the cards, we'll obviously get some confirmation there. But really, really, this week is all about you. It's all about the divine masculine, and it's all about the divine feminine. Now, interesting coming here that the feminine again has the card Hatha. As I said before, it's interesting how some of these very same cards have come up in the very same positions that they've been around the place. The mirror, Hatha, the mirror, the goddess of beauty, love, and strength. She, of course, is the patroness of women. This is the divine feminine coming into her own self-empowerment. That doesn't mean that you're in power and that you have control. No, no, no. Self-empowerment means a lot more than that. Self-empowerment means that you are confident with yourself, that you love yourself unconditionally, that you believe, that you're willing to surrender the 3D. You're willing to surrender what you think or how you think and the ways that you think things should be. Because at the end of the day, it's the divine. It's our higher selves, the higher beings, the angels who are helping us in this path. We don't make the rules. We have the power within ourselves to bring ourselves into the light. Do not let that power go for 1 second. Think, self. This mirror, it's not a reflection of your twin. It's a reflection of you. When you reflect your best self to this mirror, then you see your twin clearly in unconditional love. Now the masculine over here, the growth with sacrifice. And he is growing. And he is sacrificing. Because what he's sacrificing right now, what it comes to me, like the sacrificial lamb. So he is sacrificing things in his life that he knows do not serve him. Now that can come in all forms, shapes and forms. Could be the karmic partnership that he's in. Could be the karmic childhood patterns. Could be the family ancestral templates that he's now shedding from within. And of course, the buckle of Isis is very much representative of the womb. So it's like the, pardon me, it's like the almost like the masculine is kind of in this, let me get this card. So the masculine is, there's the masculine within this. So he's got this red, the red around him. It's like the cradle around the knot. So he's got this. Now notice the symbol here. It's like it's almost like it's got this loop, very similar to the Ankh. And I mean, it's very symbolic here because I mean we've got this. We've got the bast is also the same. The hatha is the same. So it's a very significant symbol, like this looping. Now this is the masculine. He's been protected here. This is the outer shell. So not only is being protected, but he's actually holding onto this outer shell because that's all the stuff that he needs to clear. So it's kind of like, almost like the child with his blankie. You know how children have, you know, an attachment to a blanket, a security blanket or things like that. This is where the masculine is at right now. This is his blankie. So he's there, but he's still holding on. He's still holding on before he just comes out and lets it go. So be gentle with the masculine. Be gentle because he's still at this stage. He is still figuring out what it is that he needs to let go so that he can come out and be as the divine masculine energies of Osiris, the yang. Okay, so there's a lot of yin energy around the masculine because that's that kind of that child. There's still that inner child there of the masculine. He's still holding on to that, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's actually quite soothing that he's able to go into that place where he can go into his inner child and really, really look at releasing. So vital in his journey, just as much as the feminine needs to come into her empowerment of looking to herself. Look at where you've come. Look at where you're going. How far have you come? I know myself that I have actually developed and grown so much in the last 12 months, the last 6 months. This time last year, I was in utter despair. Utter despair. You could say that. I had so much strength, and I'll just tell you my story because, I mean, honestly, it was this time last year that I was in the most horrible situations. But the thing is that I was working, was working with children, and I was there for the children and guiding them and helping them. The problem is that the place I worked at, there was let's just say, the person who ran the place was quite narcissistic. So it was making it very, very difficult. And, anyway, without going too much in it, at the end of the day, I said, I'm here. I will put my own needs aside and gain as much strength as I can to help these children to get through what they need to do in order to be strong. That was my only motivation, because I tell you, I could have cracked under the pressure that I was receiving from the higher, not the higher beings, the powers to be, so to speak. But I just had so much energy burning within me, because at the end of the day, it's not about me. It's not about me. It's about nurturing. And I got through it, and obviously I left, and I can tell you right now, from that time to this time this year, wow. Wow is all I can say. Things have just grown amazingly. So this isn't the only thing that I do. I am a teacher. I work with children, and I also work with you as a healer. So the point I'm trying to say is that you can do it. There has been growth. I've witnessed this through clients, through people close to me. There is growth. You can do it. You can do it. You can come into your strength. When you become self-empowered and confident within yourself, and when you love yourself unconditionally, I guarantee you, your twin is going to come knocking at your door, because he's waiting for you. He's always been waiting for you to come into this. Now, we say that the masculine have all these energies going around, and it may sound a bit contradictory at times. However, it's not. Because yes, they still are going through, but their higher 5D cells are so strong that they need to see you go through it first. They need you to come and pull that last bit out. But you can only do that. You can't do that by dragging them, kicking and screaming. That ain't the way to do it. It's gentle. It's through your self-empowerment that they are able to let go of this blankie and come towards you. Now, moving on to the divine partnership. Again, we do have Anubis here. Anubis is, of course, protecting us. Of course, we're talking about being light-hearted in things. So in your interactions with your twin, your divine counterpart, be light-hearted. Nothing deep. Nothing too deep. Just be light-hearted. Okay? Because remember, he is the divine jester. Okay? He is the opener of ways. Anubis protects at all levels, but also Anubis suggests that motion and movement and action is on the way. Yes, it is in the same position where it was last week. However, that means it's almost like he's going, I'm holding guard to the gateway. I'm holding guard here because I know you guys have still got this stuff to work through. So just know that everything is being protected. Trust in the divine, because the divine has it all sorted. And now what we have coming up here is the Earth card. So, of course, the Earth card is a lot of grounding. Pardon me. So it talks about, obviously, the 3D things of money and possessions and things like that. But it's also a growth card, which means that growth is occurring in the partnership. It is all about putting material aspects of life into correct perspective. So things are being put into place in order for this to come to fruition. So coming up to the next card, we have the Crook and Flower. Now, of course, the Crook and Flower is quite symbolic in that it is the emblem of the Pharaoh's authority. So the Pharaoh's authority is, of course, knowing. It's like the Pharaoh's authority is like the divine authority in this instance. Divine authority. It's a mastering of the ego here. So the divine is helping both counterparts to master their egos. And take responsibility to overcome the 3D problems. So, looking at the numbers here, I'm just looking because I'm always aware of significance in numbers. Now, over on the masculine, we've got a 1, 15, and 25. So we've got 1, 6, and 7. And over in the feminine, we've got a 13, 4, and 6. So a 4, 4, and 6. Okay, so interestingly, we both have 6s. And in the divine partnership, we have a 9, a 14, and 17. So a 9, 5, 8. See, 8, of course, is symbolic of the twins. It's the infinity symbol. I mean, I have the infinity symbol on my finger. I mean, I wear it all the time. So 8 is very significant. The other in regards to the 4s, of course, are talking about angels around us. Other than that, no, I'm not seeing any. But however, I mean, again, go up and look up 167, sacred angel number for the masculine, and a 446 for the feminine. The partnership is 958. 9, of course, is endings. We know that. 1 is beginnings. Now, the 9, of course, is letting go of that which no longer serves us as well. So moving on to the cards. What is it that the divine masculine is projecting towards the partnership on a 5D level? Change. Okay, the scarab beetle coming to the light. It's all about change. It's about resurrection and immortality. There's renewal, acceptance, spiritual rebirth occurring here. This is what the masculine is going through. He's going through his spiritual rebirth. It is all about, he's bringing into the partnership a new phase of life. He is now coming to terms to what is and is having a change around. Things are changing dramatically for the divine masculine. Now, what is the feminine bringing towards a partnership? Peace, happiness, the lotus, of course, the sacred flower of Nesis. Talks about continuity, placidity, and of course, lotus embodies a peace of mind. And it's all about overcoming life's problems. So she's bringing this lovely, beautiful, placid energy into the partnership. He's bringing change into the partnership. Really excellent cards. I like this. I really do. This is kind of like, this is the core of everything that's going on right now. This is good. And what do we have? Before I go into the card under here, I just wanted to go back into, I'm going to go into the symbolism of the crook and flower again, because I feel that has come up a lot. And of course we are, because it talks about authority, I'm going to go into it just to see, because I am really not sure that I've actually read through it again, but I will read through the symbolism. So, the pharaohs of Egypt were always depicted carrying the crossed crook and flower. Likewise, certain of the gods included these emblems in the regalia, notably Osiris. The crook and flower carries a worldly significance, being indicative of the qualities of leadership and temporal power, as well as discipline, either imposed or self-imposed. According to ancient writings, the crook and flower was said to express the masculine and feminine principles. These combined in balance produced a strong but fair leadership. The crook representing the intuitive or lunar aspect of one's nature, and the flail the solar and authoritative side. The crook was also the working tool of the shepherd, and as such it gathered Christian emphasis as one of the symbols allotted to Christ in his role as the good shepherd of the flock. Originally an agricultural implement used for threshing grain, the flail later acquired unfortunate connotations when it was adapted as a popular baton of authority by those in charge of groups of slaves or serving people. The message of these two symbols is the combining of discipline with the gentler attributes of wisdom and understanding, which makes for truly gifted leadership. Perfect. I am so glad that I read that. I don't believe I have actually read the true symbolisms of the crook and flower. So I'm really pleased that I did. So there we have it. Okay, it's the balance. It's a yin-yang balance. Hence the card number 8. Well, 17, which of course breaks, it goes up to an 8, which I call a twin card. Okay, bottom of the deck. What have we got? Let's just sum it all up. The Ankh, the life force, the power of the gods, emotional love. What can one say? This is this combined with this. So this is the overall card is the dawning of a new state of awareness and enlightenment and universal love. As far as the collective goes, this is the ultimate. So, providing, what is the general message here this week is providing we continue to live in unconditional love. Now, for the masculine, that is really letting go of those things that no longer are required in our lives in order for us to come into our worldly status as a divine masculine counterpart. Feminine's balance, self-empowerment, of course, to come into this. Then we have this. That is a beautiful reading for this week. A lot of good information there. Really, it is a very much a surrender. Surrender, surrender, surrender. Surrender to the divine and allow the divine to work through you. That is the message. That is a strong message this week. Allow the divine to work through you. Let go of the control. Let go of the 3D. How and when is this going to happen? That's what will bring divine partnership. Now, I'm going to call upon Isis, Goddess of Light and Love, who loves us unconditionally, to impart her wisdom on us this week, the divine masculine, divine feminine, divine counterparts. What is it that we essentially need to be healing in this up and coming week? Okay. Interesting that this card, I've got two cards again. This keeps happening. Interesting that this card came up top. Now, what have we got there? The Ankh, the winged disc. It is the mother of life, the nourishment of the golden grain mother. I'm going to keep that down here. Okay, and the next one is going to be further guidance. Of course, the ancient power mysteries, hear the rattle of Isis playing. That, of course, is the sistrum or the bast. Now, I have actually pretty sure that I've actually done this healing message before. So I'm going to put that down. And then, oh boy, okay. Key to life, people. The key of life. The spinning, the Ankh, the key of life. Wow. Wow. It is just, it's evident here. We are changing. We are changing. Wow. Okay. Now, before I go into the healing, I'd just like to remind you, and what I'll do also this week with the Venus retrograde energies, I'll also put up a Healing Your Way intermission reading as well. As I said, they're not going to necessarily be weekly readings, and I will put them up when I feel that they are going to be relevant to us. Now, of course, I do this type of reading, and of course, a Healing Your Way intermission reading, as also twin partnership readings relevant to you. They can all be found on my website, indigotwin11.com. And of course, the link is below. Also, please do visit my website, because I have been posting blogs after the readings. I have been posting the incantations on the website. Now, of course, I've received permission to be able to do this on my website. So I have actually put the incantations in the weekly blog that actually encompasses this particular reading. So do go to my website. There is an RSS feed button that you can actually get RSS feeds. So whenever I put something new up, then you can actually get updated straight away. I had a little issue with subscribing. However, the RSS feeds do work, and they're pretty easy to work out. If you have any issues with it, please send me an email at indigotwin11@gmail.com, and I can explain them to you. But wow, I am just blown away. So, of course, I'm going to read just the initial message of both these. And I will, of course, put the link to the Ancient Power Mysteries on my blog for this week's reading. Let's look at the Mother of Life. I'm just blown away. Wow. The Mother of Life is the nourishment of the golden grain mother. We can sometimes fall into existing and doing rather than truly living. We only know that this has happened when suddenly our life seems dry, depleted, filled with tasks, or it feels like we are stuck in a rut or habit that may have been comfortable but is becoming stifling and suppressing. Isis, the Mother of Life, holds the ability to restore even the most numb, resistant, and difficult circumstances and people back into life. She calls to you now, seeking to bestow gifts of life upon you. Be bold and brave. Open your arms and receive. Oh, wow. Oh, gosh, I'm in awe. I'm in absolute awe here. Lost for words. Okay, the ancient power mysteries is the heart. Hear the rattle of Isis playing. So this is the ancient power mysteries, and I'm just going to read the excerpt from the book. The rattle of Isis, the sistrum, which of course is this, is playing in the hand of the goddess now. Can you sense it with your inner hearing? Its vibration reaches through your crown chakra and enters your body, initiating you into great ancient power mysteries of sound, creativity, and healing. This is a time when words and music will become increasingly important on your spiritual path and healing journey. Oh, wow. I have so much heart energy right now going on. It is just incredible. Whew. Let's get to the key of life. Before I burst into absolute, oh, wow. Okay, key of life. The key of life is the mysterious Ankh, the looped cross held in the hand of Isis. This mystery is opening to you now. The Ankh portends new life being born through you now. It could be in a creative sense or in a physical sense, in terms of health, or even a child that wishes to be born, or a new project that needs to be created in service to humanity. This new life being born in whatever form will enrich your being and bring you more into wholeness and fulfillment. Let it happen. Just before I go on to read the rest of the message, okay, it's actually, this is a very practical message coming on this week, so I'm going to read ahead. The Ankh comes as a blessing and confirmation that new life is seeking to express itself through you now. An encouragement that you allow this to occur. Something has started to be born through you at this time. See it through, beloved. Don't let it struggle to survive from lack of attention or care, or a belief that it will not be enough in any way, or it will be too hard to handle once it is created. The Ankh says that life will prevail and your creation will come to pass. Do not give up on your creative destiny. Stay with it. You are flowing in the right direction, and you have spiritual support from unseen worlds. If you are unsure of what your creative destiny may be, or unaware of the exact nature of the new life being born through you now, remember that sometimes the creation will be a project or object, a relationship, or a new human life. Sometimes it is even a new way of thinking that is wise and heart-centered and will be available for others to draw nourishment from as an alternative to more destructive and addictive thought patterns which humans can struggle with from time to time. There is one creative process common to all of humanity, and that is the birthing of the soul light into form. No matter what other forms of life are being created through you now, the mystery of the Ankh reveals that you can know for sure that you are growing spiritually at this time to allow more of your soul light into your life. What this means is that no matter what the appearance of circumstances in your life right now, no matter whether you feel alive with creative flow, energized and happy, or whether you are in despair as your old world no longer brings you peace or seems to be falling away, your divine soul is behind it. A new life is emerging. It is safe to trust and allow this process to unfold. Oh, okay. It says if you've drawn this oracle along with either the nut of Isis or the wings of Isis, then the new life is very deeply spiritual and will be highly transformative from the inside out. Now, of course, we haven't drawn the oracle from the Isis oracle. However, we do have the nut of Isis there, or the buckle of Isis. So they very much relate. Okay. It also brings a special message to those on creative path. If you have hit a blank page or a dry well for inspiration, if you are encountering doubt in your ability to create and flow, do not despair. The Ankh promises fresh inspiration will return to you, and you can be assured that just as the Nile floods filled with life After it has receded, so too will your creative flow soon return. Your creative days are not over. Your creative well will rise again, and you will feel youthful, energized, and full of hope and promise, inspired to create. The ritual below will help take you there, but you must also be patient and trust in your own creative and spiritual rhythms. There is an incantation that I'm just going to read before we actually go into the ritual of the Ankh. And of course, I'll write this on my blog. But whenever you need protection and blessing for any project or endeavor, or spiritual, materially, or otherwise, say this incantation. Cross of life, cross of light, protects me through darkest plight. Held within the Isis womb, new melody of my soul tune. Safely held in loop unbroken, till it is time for new life to break open. Wow. Okay. And I'm being drawn to go back to the Mother of Life incantation as well. Let me just go back. I've got the book here. For some reason, they've said read the Mother of Life incantation. I call to the Blessed Mother of Life. Gift me with boldness, courage, and love. Help me let go of the past. Help me surrender the ways I have shrunk back from life. To protect and hide parts of me that were hard to deal with. Let me know the fullness of life, love, and acceptance of myself and others. Let me just be with you without pretense or hiding. Help me grow joyfully and be myself in the world. I accept your help in unconditional love. Life flows through me, full and unique. And that is just it. Allow our higher beings, allow the divine, allow the beautiful goddess Isis, allow other ascended masters, allow higher beings to be with you, to flow through you. And now for the ritual. It is an unusual one, and you may need to pause and gather a piece of paper and some coloured pens or pencils if you like. Allow yourself to choose whatever colours feel right for you and draw an Ankh. So an Ankh, so draw this picture here on your piece of paper. You can draw it plain or patterned, but leave enough space to write within the loop at the top of the Ankh. When the Ankh is coloured to your liking, you can write whatever dreams or awareness you have of the life that is seeking to be born through you, either in words or pictures. Use the openness inside of the looped hook at the top of the Ankh as your sacred frame. If you're not sure what is happening but have an idea of what you would like to give birth to, add that to your central image. It might be very detailed or very simple. What is most important is that there is a sense of love behind what you add at the top of the Ankh. The empty space within the loop at the top of the Ankh is as a psychic container for this ritual practice. It becomes the womb of Isis and will co-create with you the unfoldment of your highest destiny. What is in your heart is the seed of your highest destiny. The form of how it appears may change, but whatever it is that you love, loves you, and is seeking to come into your life through your experiences in some way. This ritual deepens the conscious connection between the forces that are seeking to be born through you and your own awareness. Placing these forces within the womb of Isis in the Ankh brings psychic stability and spiritual protection to those creations, which will help them to be birthed with greater ease, in fullest form, and with the most joy possible. If you wish to add uplifting pictures or drawings outside the inner circle, know that these will also be energized by the Ankh, but the strongest protection is within the loop. When you're finished with your task, you may like to place your picture in your journal or leave it in a sacred space where you can gaze at it after meditation or prayer. And you can, of course, use the incantation. Enjoy the divine support for the life being born through you now. Beautiful, beautiful messages. this week. You know, like really, it's within this. It's within this, that sacredness. And as I said before, there's so much symbology happening here with all these loops. Now, look, we've got a loop. We've got a loop. This is like a loop. There's 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 another loop. I mean, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 loops here. I mean, you know, wow. It is purely amazing. Very, very symbolic here. Also, I'm just noticing here on the earth, we've got 3 of these palms here and 3 objects down here. Masculine, feminine, divine. Just remember that. I'd like to thank